Hi everyone, it's Natalie and welcome back to my channel. Before I get this video started, I just wanted to apologize for not posting anything last week. I was really not in the mood to film anything at all. My mental health kind of took a huge plunge, so I wasn't really in the mood for much of anything except for sitting in my bed reading books. So that's why no video went up. And then on top of that, the George Floyd murder happened and the protests began, and so I got caught up with all of that as well. So that really added to me also feeling strange about filming a video about books during these times with all these protests and everything going on. But finally I decided to just do it because I really do miss filming. Also, down below in the description I will leave links to resources of where you can donate or what you can do to help with the Black Lives Matter movement, with the protests over George Floyd's murder and all of those things. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the books that I read for the Asian Readathon. I read 6 things for this readathon, which all in all, I would consider a success. So let's get right to it. The first book I finished for this readathon was Ignite the Stars by Maura Millan. In this book, we're following our main character, Aya, who is an outlaw. She constantly goes against the government, which is the Commonwealth, but she ends up being captured by them and taken to their military academy. They take her to this academy because she's a very talented pilot and they want to use her skills to their advantage. And while at the academy, Aya starts to learn that there's far more to the Commonwealth than she originally thought, and she starts to discover that there are outside forces that have much more evil intent than the Commonwealth. I rated this book 3 stars. Overall, I think this was a solid book. I really enjoyed the majority of my reading experience. The writing of this was really fast-paced. It was really easy to get through. So that was one of my favorite things about this book. I flew through it because I found myself thinking about it all the time. And on top of that, once I picked it up, it was really hard to put it down because it was just so easy to read. Honestly, it was just easy. One of the things that wasn't that great about this book though was that our main character had too many convenient things at hand. She had so much technology and tech stuff incorporated into her body that would help her eventually solve the problems that would come up, that I just felt too simple, too easy, and like a scapegoat. It was just, there wasn't that much challenge in here. She wasn't really struggling to get anything she wanted done. Apart from that, this is more a personal thing than an issue with the book, but it still affected my reading experience. And it's that the romance in here, at least one of the side romances, was just totally forced. It did not need to be there. It was a waste of my time. And it was so underdeveloped that I was like, why do I care about these 2 characters? Why should I? And the main issue as well of why I didn't care about them is because in this book we have Aya and Bryn develop a friendship, a very genuine and nice friendship. But the thing about how their friendship develops is that it's literally following tropes that in another book would be romance tropes. The interactions between them, I swear to you, if Bryn and Aya both weren't girls, they would have been love interests to each other because that's how their interactions worked. So that was just frustrating. But the actual romance that Aya had with another character, Knives, that was cute and sweet and I liked it. So I wasn't completely frustrated with this reading experience because there was cuteness here and there was a romance that I enjoyed. It just felt like the author thought that she had to give Bryn a love interest, and I was just like, just leave that girl alone, okay? Just leave her alone. At the end of the day though, this was a really good debut novel, and I am looking forward to reading the sequel of this and seeing how everything ends. The next thing I read for this readathon was Monsters Volume 2 by Marjorie Liu. In this comic series, we're following our main character who has a monster living inside of her, or kind of like a god living inside of her, who is slowly consuming her. And she's trying to learn more about why this god is inside of her, how did it happen, and how can she get rid of it. There's a lot more going on apart from that, but it's very complicated and I struggle to follow it, so that's the best description I can give you. you. I rated this 4 stars. I really enjoyed reading this second volume in this series. I actually seriously need to get my ass to reading the rest of this because it needs to stop. Me putting it off needs to stop at some point because I do enjoy it. I do think that the world is very intricate and confusing, and it's not always easy to follow what's happening. But in the moment while I'm reading it, I do enjoy it and I do have a good time. So I definitely want to continue with this series. As for my specific thoughts on this volume, I don't have much to say. I just know that our main character is a dumbass and I totally love her for it. I'm like, she's so reckless. Like, she jumps into everything without a second thought, and I'm like, you are a fool, but I love you. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The next book I finished was The Widows of Malabar Hill by Sujata Macy. In this novel, we're following our main character Praveen, who works in her father's law firm, and his law firm is hired to execute the will of a man who recently died. The thing is that this man left 3 widows, and supposedly these women are giving their inheritance up for charity, but Praveen thinks that's strange. So she starts investigating more into this family to figure out what's really going on and why these women supposedly want to give up the one thing that would sustain them for the rest of their lives. I rated this book 3 stars. It was another solid read. I don't tend to read mystery novels that much, so I don't have high expectations when going into them, so this was thoroughly enjoyable and entertaining to read. I read mystery novels, especially this brand of mystery novels where we're following a detective-like character, because I want to discover things as our main character discovers them. I don't really read mysteries to connect the dots and figure out what happens, so I found it enjoyable to just follow our main character Praveen as she slowly uncovers the drama and the secrets of this household of 3 women. Apart from that, I genuinely enjoyed reading about Praveen and her life and her family. Discovering her own family drama, the past things that happened in her life, was very entertaining, and I was totally into it. I wanted to know more about her. So I found that very fun to follow. Apart from that though, the other characters weren't all that well developed. They kind of were just there. I didn't really feel connected to them. I didn't really feel any negative or positive way about them. So I think that was the biggest thing that was kind of meh about this book. Like, our characters that weren't Praveen were just uninteresting, not compelling, not that well developed. So attachments to them were difficult to develop. Still, I enjoyed this, so I'm probably going to be picking up the sequel at some point. I don't know when, but I'll probably get around to it. The next book I picked up was Tell Me Again How a Crush Should Feel by Sarah Farizan. I'm probably butchering her name, I'm sorry. In this novel, we're following our main character Layla, who develops a crush on the new girl, Saskia. But once they start getting closer, Layla starts getting confused about the nature of their relationship. Is it something more, or is it just friendship? Is Saskia kind of manipulating her, or is Saskia genuinely invested in the relationship that they're slowly developing? That's kind of the gist of this novel. It's a contrast between that first crush relationship thing that Layla has going on and the friendship she starts developing with other people at her school. I rated this book 2.5 stars. I had mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, I really enjoyed our main character and the relationship that blossoms between her and one of her older friends, Lisa. This relationship was really cute and really sweet, and I liked seeing the slow progression of it. It felt very natural, it felt very real. So I enjoyed that. That was one of my favorite things about reading this book. On the other hand, Saskia was a frustrating character. This might be considered spoilers, so if you don't want to know about it, then maybe click off or whatever. I'll put a little sign with spoilers and then take them off when I'm done talking about spoilers. But anyway, Saskia is kind of frustrating because she's this manipulative character that feels both overblown and very realistic at the same time. Like, while reading it, you're kind of like, but this is ridiculous. She's almost like a villain twirling her mustache. But at the same time, the behavior that she's exhibiting is very real behavior. It's things that people do, that I know people do. So it's that conflict of feeling like her character wasn't handled super well, while at the same time feeling like she had very realistic traits to her. Apart from that, Layla had a lot of I'm not like other girls traits, and she hated on very feminine girls a lot. So that was another thing that kind of put me off this reading experience. So like, even though I understood some of the messages the author was trying to send, and I appreciated those messages and I saw the value in them, other choices in the writing were kind of frustrating and made this a very difficult book to thoroughly enjoy and appreciate as a whole. The next book I picked up was Our Wayward Fate by Gloria Chow. In this book, we're following our main character, Ali, who is the only Asian American girl in her very rural town. When another Asian boy moves into town, Chase, Ali is forced to confront the way she has conformed to the way of life in this town, where she doesn't speak up against racism and where she just stays silent all the time. So in this book, we're following the relationship that Ali and Chase develop, and on top of that, we're also discovering the family secrets of Ali, since she has a turbulent relationship with her parents and is trying to figure out why they can't communicate, why they don't know how to say what they're feeling and what's going on, why they always do things in secret and without talking to one another. I rated this book 3.5 stars. I really loved it. Honestly, I didn't rate it higher because the writing wasn't like perfect, but it was still so fucking good. I would totally recommend picking this up. This is my second book I've read by Gloria Chow, and I'm discovering that she's just an author that I really enjoy. She really gets the kind of storytelling that I enjoy, and her writing style just clicks with me. I don't know, something about her humor, something about the way she approaches storytelling really works for me, and I find it very enjoyable and entertaining and engaging. One of my favorite things about this was both parts of the plot. Both the romance plot was really cute and fun, and in general, even though it was kinda insta-lovey, it didn't really feel that way. It just felt like two characters who were really into each other really quickly, but not like, oh, I'm in love with you, I would die for you kind of thing. Just like infatuation. It felt like infatuation. It was cute and sweet because of it. On the other hand, learning more about Ali and her family was also fucking great. I love any book where I get to learn family secrets from people, because it's like I'm living vicariously through them. I'm like, yes, I want to know all my familial trauma, but since I can't, I guess I will settle with this character who is discovering hers. Anyway, at the end of the day, really enjoyed this and looking forward to reading more by Gloria Chow. The last book I picked up for this readathon was We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal. In this book, we're following two main characters. One of them is the hunter who goes out to the forest, which no one really dares to go to, in order to hunt for food for her people in order for them not to starve. Our second main character is Nazir, the son of the Sultan, and he's sent by his father to go after the hunter because the hunter knows how to find a magical artifact that his father wants. So we're basically following our two characters as they travel across the land in order to seek this magical book. I rated this book 3 stars, and I didn't particularly enjoy it. I rated this book 3 stars because it's one of those books where it's like, it's not you, it's me. It did not work for me. It did not click for me. The way that the author told this story just wasn't compelling to me. I didn't think it was poorly written by any means. I didn't think that any of the choices that the author made could have been improved by another one, but it just didn't appeal to me. I found myself really bored while reading this. I just didn't want to. So it took me almost the entire month to get through it. And the only reason I pushed through was because I was reading it for this readathon. If not, I would have DNF'd it. And the thing was that what happened here was that even though I enjoyed the characters in the story, I wasn't deeply invested in them. They were just okay. I found them mildly entertaining, but not entertaining enough for me to want to trudge through this story. So at the end of the day, I won't be picking up the sequel of this book because I just cannot imagine it would be any better than this one. And I would just rather leave it alone, honestly. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you read anything for the Asian Readathon, please let me know down in the comments below what your favorite read for the Readathon was. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to follow me on any of my social media, I will leave the links to that down below in the description. But for now, see you next time.